Anyway, so the last 2 weeks, Peter, while you've been away, the last 2 weeks, we've had great fun covering a series of articles by Echohawk on EN World, where he has delved in to all of the products that have been made for D&D and provided us with tons of graphs and figures and numbers, and we've discovered which edition had the most products made for it, which setting, which D&D campaign world had the most products made for it. All this fun stuff.
You always save the good stuff for when I go away. And like for those of you who've just tuned in and are completely into the podcast, that is not sarcasm. Anyway.
Yeah, we intentionally did it when you were going away.
This does sound like a good time to me. But
we control when the news goes out. When we can
do a little recap. Right, edition. Right, very very quick. Editions. Which edition do you think? Which D&D edition has the most, or had the most, official, so produced by TSR or Wizards of the Coast, not third party, products made for it?
Probably second edition.
Correct.
They sold like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. By a long shot. Yeah. And then setting,
especially all the books as well. Yeah.
We haven't even covered. That's next week. This week is going to be magazines. Next week is going to be novels.
Okay.
But the last week we did D&D worlds, and I think you can probably guess which is the D&D world which has the most number of official RPG products associated with it.
Well, as long as I don't have to remember it, I'll be fine.
Exactly. It is in fact the Forgotten Realms. Yeah. And that was by a long shot as well.
A country mile, one could say.
Yeah. So we covered those over the last 2 weeks. And our YouTube videos on those, where I took those topics out and put them on separately, have done really well. Thousands of views. People seem to like these a lot.
I'll have to go look them up. I have not been in a place with good internet access.
Fair enough. You can catch up.
Well, not for YouTube, anyway.
Anyway, this week's magazines. We're going to talk about magazines this week.
Yes.
So, there have probably been more official D&D magazines than you think.
There definitely are, because that picture is already more than I thought.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd heard of the Dragon magazine, and that looks like that's on there. Polyhedron, I didn't realise was a D&D magazine. Dungeons and Dragons, I suppose I should have expected. Is that a dungeon magazine as well?
Dungeon magazine, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through them. So what we've got on there, we have got the Strategic Review in the top left there, which was the very, very first magazine they made by TSR. There was only 7 issues, 75 to 76.
Wow.
1975 to 76, just to clarify.
Okay.
Kind of a precursor to Dragon. You can see how it looked more like a newsletter than a magazine.
I mean, that's virtually predating you, Russ. That's like, hello.
It actually is predating me, yes. And then we have Dragon magazine, originally called The Dragon, which launched in 1976, around for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
And that on that picture there, you can see the very first edition of that. It definitely changed over the years, and I've got a graphic later on just showing how it changed in sort of like layout and design style over the years, which is kind of fun to look at. So what else do we have? We also have Polyhedron magazine, which was originally called the RPGA News, and then it got changed to Polyhedron, and RPGA was a role-playing game association, and it was kind of the precursor to Adventurers League. It was organised, early organised play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one
it just builds up a shared culture, which is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So that had 148 issues, went from 1981 to 2001. So that went out for a long time. Originally, it only went out to members of the RPGA. But it did become more commonly available after that. Then we have Imagine Adventure Game magazine, which was made by TSR UK.
Okay.
Because TSR had a UK branch.
Mm-hmm.
I remember phoning up once when we were about 20 and we had a rules question about a lion and it's some kind of multi... I can't remember what the question was exactly. It was something to do with multi-attacks or something. And we actually phoned up TSR UK to ask them a rules question, and someone, a nice lady, answered the phone and said, "Oh, can I get someone to call you back with that?" And I went, "Yeah, sure, here's my number," thinking, "Oh, we'll never hear anything." We just carried on playing. 20 minutes later, the phone rings.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone, and it was this chap, and I wish I knew who it was. This chap from TSR calling to answer our rules question and chat with us for about 5-10 minutes explaining the rules that we were asking about, and it's like, that is customer service.
Yeah, we should start doing that. We start doing that EM publishing, shall we?
Yeah, we'll give them your phone number then.
Yeah, I'll put your phone number on the website, and then people can just text you or call you whenever.
That's hilarious. Like, if you've got any rules questions, then asking you to. Yeah, great.
Anyway, imagine Adventure Game Magazine, TSR UK, 30 issues, 1983 to 1985, so only for a couple of years.
That's still good effort.
Competing with White Dwarf at the time, and it kind of couldn't. And that's kind of why it went away. White Dwarf won that little battle, because White Dwarf was the big UK magazine.
Yeah, I can see why Imagine a Dragon might not have done so well.
Yeah. Imagine Dragons have done very well since they've formed a band and everything.
That's in the US, So.
Anyway, next we have
interrupted.
Dungeon Magazine. Originally called Dungeon Adventures for TSR role-playing games, then called Dungeon Adventures, and then eventually just called Dungeon.
Right.
That launched in 1986, and basically each issue it was adventures. Each issue would come out with like sort of 4 or 5 adventures in there.
Yeah.
And that was literally it. Each month you get 4 or 5 adventures.
Yeah. I imagine it
was a fantastic magazine.
Got a lot of one-off sales from some very confused people.
Well, that went on for years. So let's have a look. That's 150 issues. Yeah, 150 months. So that was
that's
from
pretty
86
good.
to 2007.
Wow.
That went on for years, and that was a brilliant magazine.
Yeah.
Legends of the Lance.
Oh,
5 issues.
A Dragonlance one.
1998 to 1999. And this was a passion project led by Sue Cook, who was managing the Dragonlance team at the time. And it's kind of interviews, previews, a bit of game material, very, very specifically Dragonlance oriented. But it's only 5 issues of it. I don't know if you could even get hold of them now. If you can maybe get them on eBay or something, I don't know.
Yeah. That's so wild, because like 1988 to 1999, I'd have been interested. I'd have wanted to know about it.
You know, I never came across it, and I was very much into Dragonlance at that time. It's not something that crossed the Atlantic, clearly, and it wasn't widely known, I don't think.
I was into Dragonlance despite not knowing anything about role-playing games. In fact, I think there was a bit of a crossover period where I really liked Dragonlance, I really liked role-playing games. I did not realise that they were in any way connected.
You could
the power of marketing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't actually say anywhere.
Yeah, and I suppose this would be pre-internet, so it's not like, these days your hobby, you just like pick up your phone, you just type in the name of your hobby into Google, and instantly you would know that it was a role-playing game and a series of novels.
It just shows you Critical Role and says, there you go. That's what role-playing games are.
Yeah. Anyway, next one. Polyhedron UK. 1998. Only 8 issues. Didn't last for long at all. There was the 8 issues covered different kind of regions and continents. So Polyhedron UK was the official RPGA Euro magazine. And that was number 1. Then number 2, it was Polyhedron UK, the official RPGA UK magazine. Issues 3 to 5, it became Polyhedron, the official RPGA magazine for UK, Ireland, and South Africa. Interesting combination. Number 6 to 7, it became Polyhedron official RPG magazine for Europe, Australia, and Africa.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense because that feels, yeah.
And then finally, number 8, Polyhedron, and this is the final issue, official RPG magazine for Europe, Asia, Pacific, and Africa.
Okay. So what years was that? What years was it out?
That would have been 1998 to 2000, and there were 8 issues over those 2 years.
Okay.
So it wasn't a monthly one, clearly. It was
past the end of apartheid, so sorry, it's just like when you advertise as being advertising directly for South Africa, questions to arise for me. But yeah, there we go.
I've got no idea what the reasoning behind all that was at all.
I don't think they did either. There we go.
Next one, Living Greyhawk Journal.
I'm guessing that has something to do with the Greyhawk setting.
Correct.
Using my natural 20
the Living Greyhawk Journal is the official Forgotten Realms magazine, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
Just like the Legends of the Lance is the official Al-Qadim magazine.
Yeah. Oh, Al-Qadim. Oh, that's a setting that I'd love to know more about, but do not want to know anything about because it would only horribly disappoint me.
Probably.
Definitely.
Anyway, Living Greyhawk Journal, only 6 issues. The first issue was given away for free with Dragon issue number 274.
Nice.
And then the next 5 issues were mailed to RPGA members.
Okay.
And then that was it. 6 issues. And then after that, they folded it into Dragon magazine. And later moved it into Dungeon, so it became a section of those magazines.
Difficult to get enough material out of the 4. Like, it's all got to be written and paid for, and I think that's part of the problem they had, didn't it? Like, they just did not have enough focus, and they didn't have a big enough audience to create that sort of thing.
What, for different settings? Well, certainly during the 2E era, when they were basically competing with themselves with how many different settings did we work out it was last week, Jess?
Oh, it's like
50 million.
50 million settings,
Yeah, I think there's like at least 14 that I'm aware of.
Way more than that. I think, depending on how you count them, we discovered that because sometimes settings are a subsetting of another. And is that still the Forgotten Realms, or is that a separate setting, for example? It was between something like 28 and 44 or something like that.
Wow.
If you look on Wikipedia, it says something.
That's a lot of product line. A lot of product line support, I just didn't have the audience at the time, I guess. Yeah,
well, especially when you're, splitting it, because nobody's going to buy all of them.
Yeah.
Like, because if you look at the cost of buying all of them, you'd need thousands of dollars to keep up with everything, and nobody, the average teenager could not afford to buy everything that TSR was putting out. Anyway, finally, there was a couple of digital ones, Dungeons and Dragons Insider and Dragon Plus, which we're not going to cover here. We're only covering the print stuff. And then there's Dungeons and Dragons Adventurer there, which is a UK publication. Which launched in late 2022.
Wow. Okay.
There's 80 issues of it.
Yeah.
And each one of them comes with an accessory.
Oh.
And so that might be dice, or it might be a binder, or a DM screen, or some maps, or some battle maps, or notebooks, or figurines, or tokens, things like that. So it was expensive, because essentially it was a accessory subscription service with an attached magazine, really, in a sense.
2022.
That's expensive. $8.99 per issue.
Yeah. Did we even cover that? Because that feels like
sort of thing we should launch. Yeah, we mentioned its launch a couple of years ago in 2022.
Okay.
We did, but we haven't mentioned it since, I don't think.
Wasn't that about the same time as the OGL crisis?
A lot of other stuff was going on at the time.
Before, that was end of 23, wasn't it? Beginning 24.
Yeah.
Goodness. So anyway, that's the basic list of the primary magazines.
Yeah.
As I say, there's probably more of them than most people think. Because I immediately think Dragon and Dungeon magazines. I collected those. I'm familiar with those too. And I was aware that Polyhedron existed, but I never actually bought one.
Yeah.
So, this is Dungeon magazine, as you can see. 150 odd issues. Lots and lots and lots of cool adventures in there.
Yeah, one where you can go get your nails did, by the look of it.
Yeah. That's exactly what that is.
And that might be a Lord Soft reference on the front. There's somebody who looks like a knight holding a black rose. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. As you can see, Dungeon magazine changed in style over the years. So that was earlier. And then it became a lot more sort of modern, glossy magazine format later in its lifetime.
Yeah.
It was great though. I mean, just like 4 or 5 adventures every month, just delivered. Actually, I think it was every 2 months. I can't remember. But delivered to your door.
Yeah.
You'd have a subscription. It'd be mailed to you, delivered to your door. It was
like Insider magazine that we do.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't do 4 or 5 adventures a month though.
No, there's 4 or 5 articles in the magazine, but yeah.
Yeah, one of them will be an adventure. So 1 adventure a month. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess the thing is finding the old just getting it in front of people, because I know my exposure to this sort of thing was coming across like random White Dwarfs or Games Workshops, which like never seen any of those others like in reality. I've only seen them, only seen pictures.
Well, Dragon and Dungeon were in places like W.H. Smith.
Right.
That's where I used to see them. And White Dwarf were there as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it must have been.
The rest of them, no. The rest of them, I've literally never seen any of the other ones in person at all.
Yeah.
So, let's have a look at Dungeon Adventures by edition. This is how many adventures Dungeon put out in total. And as you can see, quite a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
It ended in the 3E era, so obviously there won't be any sort of 5th edition adventures there. But obviously, by far, 2E was the most prevalent, with nearly 250 adventures.
It's as many as 1st and 3rd edition had altogether, I think.
I think if you add all of the other 3 together, do you get probably
close to
about the same as 2E?
It looks like 2E probably would have had a few more.
Yeah. More than everything else combined. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you look at Dungeon Adventures by setting, this is the setting that they were all in. So as you can see, the most common setting was, surprise, surprise, the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. Then Greyhawk.
By Greyhawk, yeah.
I mean, Greyhawk is not that far behind. They're the 2 that stand out, highest above the rest by a good country mile, as we may say.
It's different to the graphs we looked at last week, which showed the number of products per setting, where Greyhawk was a lot lower in that.
I mean, Greyhawk was similar to Dragonlance and Ravenloft in those ones, but not the case here.
Yeah.
You see poor old Birthright,
Council of Worms.
Yeah, had almost.
And Planescape, bizarrely. I thought Planescape would have had more adventures.
I thought there'd have been more.
Just based on what I've heard about. Yeah.
So Eberron,
Eberron is quite late in the day, to be fair, like, relatively speaking, because that's obviously, Baker's work and was a result of competition, like, pretty much most of the way through. So I think it's quite well considering. It's these other ones, like Dark Sun. Yeah. I've heard of a lot of these.
Yeah. Well, there's a great podcast you can listen to. It went out last week, and you can listen to us talking about these settings in great detail.
I should look forward to it.
Or you can watch a YouTube video, of which 10,000 other people have watched, which is
okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right. So, Dragon Magazine. I wanted to just mention the covers of Dragon Magazine, because it has featured some of the most iconic art pieces in all of D&D. And I remember each of these covers specifically, which is why I picked these. but out of the sort of 250 odd issues, you know, your favourite cover, I'm sure, isn't necessarily the same as mine, but everyone will have their favourite covers. But there was a lot of really, really iconic, memorable, especially that one on the top left there, which is like a woman with a bow being attacked by a giant skeleton with an axe. I remember that one so well.
Exploding out of ice, it looks like.
Yeah, exploding out of ice. Yeah. And that one on the bottom right as well, which has sort of some kind of knight
riding lizards,
riding
in a polar wasteland.
Dragon, I think that is from behind. Yeah.
That's wings.
That one looks a bit Star Wars to me, in a weird way. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Feels like
Yeah, it's got the old weird fiction vibes, like you know, and there was not this insistence on a sharp divide between science fiction and fantasy. Which this would be, depending upon exactly when, but would be about the right sort of age for. It's fascinating stuff. It's why like people keep on trying to make psionics a thing, which is now traditionally regarded as very much part of science fiction canon, and why some people think it's got no place. Whereas I'm like, well, psionics, it's all part of that common shared DNA.
Psionics is one of those divisive things. You love it in your fantasy or you hate it in your fantasy. You know.
Yeah. But it's in raw still, which is why it's top of my mind right now. We got to dig into the Advanced 5th Edition Voidrun's Codex when that pops through my door at some point and have a good look at it.
Well, that will be soon, Peter, because the Voidrun's Codex box sets are arriving at the UK warehouse on Tuesday. So they are imminent.
Yes.
So what will happen is you will open it up, and the very first thing you will spot is a typo, because that's how it works. That's how publishing works.
Yes.
Even if there's only one typo in the entire 1,000 pages, the very first thing that you see when you open it up and cast your eye upon a random page will be the typo.
Yeah,
I personally am looking forward to opening the Viod Ridders Codex
on the cover. Oh man!
I apologise. I apologise for giving you anxiety. I'm sure it's.
You would actually see me crying if that happened.
Well, it's not on the front of the box set because I'm looking at the final print version right now, which is there.
Yes, but you have dyslexia, so how do you know?
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Why did I proofread anything?
Problematic. Yeah.
I don't do a lot of the proofreading for that reason, because I don't spot typing errors, because I'm like, well, words are weird, so
yeah. Bizarre stuff. No. Oh, quite interestingly, you've also had a fighter jet with a dragon in its sides. That was quite cool.
Yeah. There was a lot of weird sort of genre mashup crossover stuff going on as well.
Yes.
Lots of it. This is a look at Dragon Magazine over the years and how basically the graphic design changed over the years.
Yes.
So I basically looked at a page which had every single issue's cover, and I just kind of went through it and said, okay, this one kind of represents this era, this one represents this era. So I kind of picked out 5 covers there, going from the very first one to a fairly late stage one, and you can totally see how like the magazine, the first one just looks like it was made by someone with, you know, some crayons, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, like at the time, getting that sort of thing done was actually a fairly impressive technical achievement. Like clip art, when it first came out, people were like really impressed and thought it was great. And nowadays, of course, you look at clip art, you say, oh dear, someone's found the clip art section, have they? Awkward. But at the time, nobody could do that. Like, the best you could hope for was vaguely put out. Like that second cover where they've put a box around a picture and they've got a slightly offset diagonal of bullet points along with the title of the magazine. Like, that was pretty state of the art at the time.
Yeah. And then when you go, you go through them, and you can see that kind of becoming more and more like the sort of thing that you currently see, like on a stand in a newsagent today. Well, if magazines still existed today, which they barely do, but you know.
And you can start seeing the existence of barcodes, which is pretty exciting, and a full art cover, and then the following the font changing from Dragon to Dragon Underlined magazine.
Yeah, we can see the logo changing over the years.
it's like from a graphic design, I think it's really interesting. So thank you for sharing that. That's
yeah,
I think it's
pretty exciting.
Yeah. So the next graph that we have goes through each of these magazines and shows how many issues each magazine published.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. We can see that Dragon was by far the most prolific with like high 300s.
I think that's the best known one as well. So sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it went for the longest. It was a monthly magazine. It went for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Dungeon Magazine comes in second there. With about 150. Well, closely matched by Polyhedron, actually. Polyhedron. With a similar number.
Mid 150s sort of thing, Look nice.
Yeah.
It's such an impressive achievement, honestly, because like people are like, oh, it's not still going, it's rubbish. But well, it existed. That's over a year.
Well, it did transition
for 10 years. Yeah.
Well, it did transition. Well, Dragon transitioned to an online magazine for a number of years before eventually fading away.
Is that D&D Insider sort of thing?
D&D Insider was a different one.
Right.
Okay. So Dragon, then there was Dragon Plus, I think it was called for a while. Do you remember that one? That went for about 2 or 3 years, I think. That wasn't that long ago. I think that ended about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. But that one tended to be more. I didn't feel like Dragon Magazine. It felt more like it was just previews and marketing.
Yeah. Right.
Content.
With you, yeah.
There's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've done over 12 issues, that's over a full calendar year of like output, which is hard. Well done. Absolutely wild accomplishment. Anything over 36, that's over 3 years worth of stuff. That's an incredible length of time to get all that stuff out there. It's like, wow. And I'm seeing a lot of these have done like, over 50, which is, a blindable achievement.
Gatecast Gazette, our magazine for Level Up, is on issue 45 now, I think. Was it 44 that went out this week? 44 or 45. So we're starting, on this graph, we would be probably catching up on those
DDI
Adventurer, DDI Dragon and DDI Dungeon ones there.
Yeah. Already overtaken the Strategic Review, Imagine, Legends of the Lance, Polyhedron, Living Greyhawk Journal.
Oh yeah, left all of those in the dust.
Yeah. Dragon Plus you've left behind. So that's it's good going. It's good going.
And give it another year, we will be basically the fourth after Dragon, Dungeon and Polyhedron.
Yeah.
Then it will be our magazine. It's
Ooh.
kind of cool.
Yeah, like I say, it's an incredible achievement. Really well done. And 45 means it's probably about another 3 months for 48, which would be 4 years.
Yeah, wow.
God damn.
Yeah. So now we've got a quick look at the price of Dragon Magazine.
Wow.
Over the years, going from 1970, whatever, 6, whatever it was, up until I think it's 2007.
This is cover price though, right?
Correct.
And it's not adjusted for inflation.
It is not.
No.
Because this could just be inflation, surely.
That could be a graph of inflation, but this is the actual cover price of Dragon Magazine.
I'd be interested to overlay that with inflation, just to see.
To do a price adjusted one, so we can see how much it changed. You know what? I'm prepared to put fairly good money that actually the price per unit stayed relatively similar.
Possibly.
Tell
you what is interesting: price per page. Because Dragon Magazine, although it went up in price, cover price, it also went up in size. And look at this graph, which shows you the price per page.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. Goodness.
So for a long time, it went down.
Yeah.
It basically, what we're looking at is a very shallow U kind of bowl-shaped graph, which is slightly higher at the right-hand end. But basically, from the start, it went down for years.
Before
starting to climb around sort of like the mid-90s.
Yeah, like it's almost a cost of the rising cover price reflected increased materials cost almost.
Possibly,
yeah. I mean, it's just the nature of this industry, really. Like, the people who are working for it are so passionate that they're prepared to accept far below market rates in order to be part of it.
So Roy vs. the World says, I transferred my Dungeon and Dragon magazine credits to a Pathfinder magazine sub, and there you stumble across the secret source of Pathfinder, that sort of because they produced Dragon and Dungeon magazine for Wizards of the Coast for many years, and when Wizards of the Coast decided to pull Dragon and Dungeon magazine back, Paizo kept that massive subscription base and offered to everyone, saying, like, Dragon and Dungeon won't be around anymore, but we're making something called Pathfinder. Would you like to just transfer your subscription over to that? And most of the people just went, why not?
Yeah.
Give that a
like
go.
Magazines.
And so Pathfinder just starts off with this massive subscribing base, which it didn't. It's incredible.
Hard to imagine beating that sort of thing happening nowadays.
Well, nobody else can do that. Nobody else could possibly have done that.
Just a perfect storm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a look at magazines anyway.
That's interesting. We love the data.